All right, so I posted about these new Bahé Rediscover boots yesterday, and I know hiking boots are a big purchase, a big decision. And for me, even though I've tried on tons of shoes, it's still sometimes hard to kind of get a feel for them when you're buying them online. And I think one of the best ways to do that is when I see like a compare and contrast with other options. Here are a few of the popular ones that you guys asked for. If you didn't see my post yesterday about these Bahé boots, I'll just give a quick rundown. So these are the newest model from them. They're called the Rediscover. Obviously a hiking boot, ripstop nylon uppers, which are waterproof. I tried them out. They've worked great so far. They have an 18 millimeter stack height with 4.5 millimeter lugs. So they've got some cushion, they've got some traction, meant for rugged terrain, a lot of weather conditions. They still have good flexibility, even with that kind of like moderate cushioning. They are flat, so they're zero drop. Just an all-around great minimalist boot. They have one of the widest toe boxes I've seen, which I really like. So they're great for medium to even like wide feet, and they are pretty high volumes. I have a higher instep and I can still wear these with the included insole, which is 3 millimeters. So if you have very high volume feet, you could take that out and still have space in the boot. So really roomy, got a lot of space in here, can accommodate quite a few different foot types and just, yeah, people who have wider and higher volume feet, which is awesome. So I'll start comparing these to some of the other options out there. So the first two brands we're going to compare them to are Vivobarefoot and Xero Shoes. These two are good to start with because they kind of fit in a similar category where they're both on the very barefoot end of things when it comes to the thinness and the flexibility of the shoes. Obviously, they're all barefoot shoes, so they're all zero drop. They all have a naturally shaped toe box. So the differences just kind of come in how much cushion do they have, how wide is that toe box, even though it's foot shaped. How much flexibility and ground feel do they have? These Vivobarefoot Tracker Deacons leather, they've got pretty decent lugs. It's about 9-10 millimeters versus these with your outsole lugs and your insole is going to be about 18. So these have twice as much under your foot than these two. All of these boots I'm sharing, I think are great options. It really comes down to what features do you want and what fits your foot best. I wear an EU38 in both of these. I think they have pretty similar sizing. The first big difference you're going to see on these is sole shape. The Bahé is wide. It's one of the widest shoes that I've tried. You can see, I know just sometimes this looks like a few millimeters, but in the foot, this actually is quite a bit of a difference. So Vivobarefoot, I typically say if you are narrow to medium, even on the narrow end of medium, they're going to be a better option for you. I can wear them usually if I take the insole out. One, because that gives me a little bit more room in the width, and Vivobarefoot tend to be low volume. So you can just kind of see on here, there's just not a lot of space from top to bottom. So for me, I'm a lot more comfortable if I take this insole out and have space. So think about that too. If you are concerned about cushion, if you are going to have to take the insole out, obviously that's less cushion. Overall, really great lugs. I think these are just, if you're looking for two different things. This, if you just, want very minimal. This, maybe if you're just looking for more protection. Wider foot, higher volume. Just the Tracker Firm Ground or FG. This one is waterproof. The other one is not. Main difference is this is, a nice leather boot. This is nylon upper. This does kind of have some thicker padding like around the sole to make them just a little bit warmer. The next one is this Xero shoe. I grouped it together with Vivobarefoot because also narrow foot, narrow to medium. These I also tend to take out the insole on them because they are a bit lower volume. These are the Scrambler Mid. They have a Michelin sole, which is nice. Again, these are pretty minimal. I think these have a 9 millimeter, again, compared to the 18 millimeter. If they've got lugs on there, they're not as like big and deep. These ones are not waterproof. This is another Xero shoe one. I feel like this one's a bit stiffer than some of their other ones, so for me, I'd prefer this one. The next brand we're going to look at is Lems and their boulder boots. So this is what they originally started out with. I think the main complaint on these was they didn't really have lugs, so people found them slippery. I use these as sort of my work boots outside, do lots of yard work in them. If you are looking for hiking boots, I would recommend the other versions of the boulder boot, where it's the Boulder Summit, the Boulder Boot Grip, just because you're going to get more traction, more lugs there. This is the sole of the Grip Summit. So it's got more like this zigzag lug tread on there. Here's more of that side-by-side comparison. The shape of the insole still has some space on this boulder boot. Someone asked the question if the boulder boots are as wide as the Chelsea boots, and they are not. I need to find mine, but the Chelsea boot from Lems is built on their widest last, and this is built on like their middle one, which I feel like the original boulder boots were a little bit wider than these. You can kind of tell. And finally, let's compare them to a higher cushion model. These are the Ultra Lone Peak. There's a Lone Peak boot that would be more comparable to this. These have about, I think it's 25 millimeters of cushion compared to this 18. kind of the difference. These do have pretty rugged lugs and tread. You've got some flex right here, but Altras definitely known more for their cushion, not for their flexibility and just being a really rugged through hiking shoe. Here's the Bahé poking out. So yeah, obviously not as wide as the Bahé. So that's what I think is really awesome is Bahé has started making minimalist shoes and they're really not compromising on the toe box. So even though I'd say I have more like the medium width feet, they're usually an EU38 and they're slightly over 9 centimeters. They're still really roomy and I really appreciate that, but I feel like the way that they've designed them, it doesn't make them look super wide. If you are after just comfort and performance, I think these are awesome. I think any of these other ones would be great too if they are a better fit for your foot or for your needs. But hopefully that helps you in deciding your new barefoot hiking boot.